You ever hear a story that sounds so impossible you almost think it's a movie? Well, let me tell you about a man who once had absolutely nothing. No home, no money, not even a bed to sleep on. He was cold, hungry, and forgotten by the world. But years later, this same man became a millionaire. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear how it happened. His name was James. He wasn't born poor. In fact, he had a normal childhood, went to school, even dreamed of becoming a musician one day. But life has a way of knocking you down. James lost his job, then his apartment, then his relationships. Within months, he went from having a future to sleeping on park benches. Every night, he carried a backpack with just 2 shirts, a toothbrush, and an old notebook. That notebook, it was the only thing that kept him sane, because inside he wrote down his dreams, his plans, and every crazy idea that came to his mind. Living on the streets isn't just about being hungry, it's about being invisible. People walked past James every single day like he didn't exist. Some nights he didn't eat, some nights he slept under bridges listening to cars rushing by. And in the middle of all that suffering, James made a promise to himself. If I ever get another chance at life, I'll never waste it. One cold morning, James was sitting outside a cafe, shivering with his notebook open. He wasn't begging, he was just writing. A man in a suit stopped and asked, "What are you writing?" James looked up and said, "My business plan." The man laughed at first, but then he sat down. James explained his ideas, a small service to help local shops advertise better using street boards, flyers, and word of mouth. Nothing fancy, just hustle. The businessman was impressed. He handed James his card and said, "Come see me tomorrow. I'll give you a chance." That meeting changed everything. The businessman helped James get a tiny loan and a space to start. James worked like a machine. Day and night he was out in the streets, passing flyers, painting boards, shaking hands, convincing people to try his service. For months he barely made enough to eat, but slowly his effort paid off. Shops started noticing more customers, word spread, and suddenly James wasn't just surviving, he was running a real business. Within 3 years, James expanded from a one-man hustle to a small company with employees. He saved every penny, reinvested, and kept growing. 10 years later, the man who once slept on sidewalks now owned multiple businesses, drove a nice car, and yes, he finally bought a home, not just any home, a home big enough to bring in other struggling people and give them shelter. James never forgot where he came from. Every winter he funds shelters, hands out blankets, and talks to homeless people. And when they ask him, "Why are you helping us?" he simply says, "Because once I was you." So the next time you see someone struggling, remember James, life can change in a moment. And sometimes the only difference between a beggar and a millionaire is one chance, one idea, and a whole lot of determination. If this story inspired you, even just a little, drop a comment saying never give up, because you never know who might need that reminder today.